Yes, boys, we're back with another video. And today, I was in the gym listening to Riptide. You know Riptide? Lately, running down to the Riptide. And there was a lyric that just stood out to me and slapped me in the face. And I was just like, whoa, that was me. And it was the lyric that goes something like, the guy quits his job, heads to New York City, but the cowboy's running from himself. And I was just like, that was me. That's basically all of us. We're always running away from ourselves. You know, this whole year I was running away from me, myself. I was scared of myself. And I was running away from myself in substances, on holidays. You know, the reason that lyric hit so hard is because I was going on holidays trying to escape and run from myself. The whole reason I went Cyprus this year was to run away from myself. I went there to try find myself, but actually I was running away from myself. And it was captured in these sort of moments where I'd be in my Airbnb, I'd sit there for 15 minutes, I'd be like, I can't sit with myself. Like I just couldn't sit with myself. So I'd get on my moped and I would just drive around Cyprus at night just for hours on end until I get home and fall asleep. I couldn't sit with myself. I was running away from myself. And this whole year, I was running away from myself. All of my goals, all of my ambitions were in the hope of getting away from me, being me and who I actually am. I was constantly trying to go someplace else, trying to be some new person while trying to cut off a part of me that you just can't cut off. You can't cut off your past. It's part of you. It's you. Like it happened to you. You know, like you can't just blank that out and suppress it. Like you have to bring it to the light eventually. And that's what God has been teaching me this year. That eventually you're going to have to stop running from yourself, turn back and go, what's really going on here? Because I had the ambitions about 2.5 years ago when I started my business. I want to be making 25, 50, 100K a month. I want to get property. I want to get all of these things. I want to retire my family. I want to be self-sufficient. I want to... And, you know, I would just say that these were the goals. Where did they come from? I don't know. They just appeared. I just wanted these goals. But the truth is, that was not what I wanted at all. That was not my why. In fact, I was running away from something. I was running away from something that happened to me 2.5 years ago that showed me the reality of life, that how quick you can lose something. And that struck fear in me. That struck a different type of urgency in me. But it wasn't like a healthy fear. It wasn't something that was giving me life. In fact, it was slowly killing me. Because what happened there, I didn't process it. I suppressed it and I became a heavy weed smoker and I was traveling, trying to run away from myself. I was overworking, scrolling on Instagram all the time and just never being able to sit with myself. And God put his hand when I was running. You know, like when you have a kid and he pulls you back, he said, no more running. You're going to look back and you're going to realize it's actually not that scary. And I feel like what happened this year was I finally looked back. I finally looked back and confronted the person that was holding all the suppressed fears and all the anxieties. And I said, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's no reason to be fearful of this. There's no reason you should be dying for this reason, spiritually killing yourself, living in misalignment. You know, when God says, don't build your foundation on sand, and we all hear this and we go, oh yeah, like I won't build it. I'm going to build it on the rock. We deceive ourselves and are still building it on the sand, because that's exactly what I did. My whole life was being built off fear that was a consequence of some trauma that happened to me. And because I didn't process that fear, and I didn't even really realize it had such an impact on me until life literally went, yo, like, stop running. You have to look at yourself. And I finally started doing like some self-examination. Why am I who I am? I feel like one of the most important questions you can ask yourself is why? You know, even who, what, when, where, why? You know, I would have these, what I now know as trauma thoughts, which were like catastrophic thoughts. I would be chilling and I'd be there like, yo, just chilling with my day. And then all of a sudden this like wave of catastrophic thoughts would overcome me of lifelong failure, being alone, not achieving anything in life, being abandoned, being unloved, right? All these feelings would come to the surface and I'd be visualizing it into the future. And I just thought that was normal. I just thought that was me. I just thought that's what I was going to have to live with for the rest of my life. But that was just a deep symptom of a deep trauma that was just unprocessed within my heart that was just lurking in the shadows, and every so often it would pop up and manifest like that. And then I would go smoke weed to go suppress that. I would go on holidays to prove to myself that I am worthy, that I am loved, that I am enough. I was trying to find my self-worth in that because I constantly felt abandoned. But it was because I was still carrying outdated emotions, outdated feelings from trauma that happened 3 years ago. That was just lurking in the shadows, killing me spiritually, killing me slowly. And thank God that his mercy is so great, because I'll be real, like from February to about March, April, bro, I was just every day just like bawling my eyes out. And I didn't know why. This was the thing, I didn't know why. Like I would go into prayer and I would just be bawling my eyes out, but I didn't know why. I didn't know what was going on. It was like the most bizarre experience I've ever had in my life. I was just tears every day. I would be walking and I just felt like crying and I couldn't explain it. And I thought, oh, it was this or this. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. But then finally, God shone a light and went, this is what is causing you all of your pain. This situation here is like the root of so much of your trauma. This is the reason you have these catastrophic thoughts. This is the reason you have the ambitions you have. This is the reason you have the goals that you have. And it took looking at it, feeling it through, bringing it to God, realizing that it's actually not that scary and it shouldn't have this grip on me. And like, no joke, like not even a week after processing that emotion, processing that fear, saying this is what it is, this is the demon that's been haunting me for so long, and pointing my finger at it and going, God, this is it. Like, I can't handle this. Take it, please. What do I do? Not even a week later, all my vices just lifted up. No more weed, no more porn, no more junk food. They just all left, right? Doesn't mean I don't still struggle. Yesterday I was getting deep temptations on lust, but I said, no, like I'm not going to do that, because the thing that would hold me down and grip me and keep me in those vices, by the grace of God, the chains have been loosened. And it was that trauma that was killing my everything. I was running away from myself, and it was until I turned back and I went, what is going on? Who am I? And I looked in the mirror and I said, what happened to me? What happened to me? Why is it like this? Was I able to uncover the deep darkness that was lurking in the shadows that was killing my life? And yeah, that's what the Riptide lyric really made me think about. Just how I was running away from myself. And yeah, I just thought I'd share this with you, because trauma's no joke, man. The things we go through, you can't suppress it forever, because you know it will continually manifest into your life. And I have many stories of where like this has sort of happened to me in my life, like this trauma stuff and this childhood trauma, looking into it's not new to me. Like I've been doing it for years, but it's very different now that I'm a Christian. It's very different now that I'm with Christ. It's a very different process and experience and belief and use of faith. And yeah, if you feel like sometimes you're in repetitive patterns, or you're in repetitive thought loops, or you're in repetitive just ways of life, and you're very uncomfortable with them, and you find a lot of discomfort and you want to escape them, it could be something to do with trauma. It could be something to do with some emotional blocks, emotional pain that you've suppressed in the background, maybe a memory that you don't even remember that holds emotion. Doesn't necessarily you think of the memory, but the emotion comes up and manifests into a new memory and causes a new visualization, because that's what was happening to me. I hope this video helps. Glory to God, and have a good day.